Oh my gosh, they're so heavy. Looking for crochet patterns that are as relaxing as they are beautiful? I've got 10 mindless crochet baby blanket patterns that you'll love, and you only need to remember one row. Hi, it's Krista at The Secret Yarnery. If you are new, this is all about crochet and yarn and colorful inspiration. And if you are a returning friend, hello and thanks for popping over. If you love to crochet but you don't like complicated patterns, this video is for you. I've pulled together 10 of my favorite easy to remember one row repeat patterns. They are all super easy to remember and customizable to whatever size you like. These patterns are designed for you to be able to crochet them while watching TV, chatting with friends, catching up on your favorite podcast, and you'll end up with something so beautiful and stunning, no one is going to believe that you just use basic crochet stitches. So let's jump right in to my top 10 mindless crochet baby blanket patterns. Y'all know where we're going to be starting out. Well, if you're new to the channel, you might not. This is the home of the original Drunken Granny. And this is my 2.0. My first Drunken Granny was one of the very first baby blanket patterns that I ever made, and boy, did it just boost my confidence, and I am sure it's going to do the same for you. This easy to remember one row repeat works into the spaces, so you don't have to look for a stitch. You just feel for this big space and put all your stitches into that space. So it works up really, really quick, really, really fast. And you also don't need that much yarn. You can get a pretty good sized baby blanket out of 500 grams or 5 balls of yarn. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, like this one here, this is 6 balls of yarn. This I use Saver from Ice Yarns. And I also put on a super cute border. So if you are new to the Drunken Granny stitch, this is the tutorial to go to, is the 2.0, because I include this fabulous border just to finish it off. Super easy. It's a one row border. You literally just go around, also into the spaces. So it finishes off the sides. So your blanket just looks super, was I showing you the back? No, good. Your blanket looks super great and fabulous. Perfect for gifting. So soft, so squishy. You can just use regular yarn and it really looks like you are a master crocheter. Plus, I show you how to fix a mistake if you forget to work in, or if you forget to do the chain space. I show you how to fix that in the pattern so you don't have to frog it back if you made a mistake. You can just keep going. No one's going to tell. So if you're new and beginning to crochet, this is great for you. Let me show you what it looks like. So, Drunken Granny 2.0. Next is the Tipsy Granny. You can see we're going on a little bit of a bender together here. These stitches are just a little bit off center. Staggering this way, staggering the other way. But also super easy one row repeat. Let me show you this gorgeous beauty. Isn't that so cute? So this is the Tipsy Granny. Really easy to remember, one row repeat. Looks great for stripes. If I was going to do a stripe pattern, this is a really good one. You can see how those stripes work up. So it's a little bit different. It's literally just double crochets and chains, but you get a really nice texture. Or not texture, a nice design from those stitches. Also has a super straight edge. So if straight edges are something you struggle with, struggle no more. Tipsy Granny blanket is for you. Now if you know these ones, say it with me. We have the Dirty Granny. So Dirty Granny is Dirty Martini. We are making olives and glasses. So if it's a glass, it gets an olive. If it's an olive, it needs glass. So you always know what to do for the easy one row repeat. Also features a super great straight edge. It's kind of like a fan shell V-stitch kind of blanket, but in such a pretty combo. Let me show you the stitches a little more up close. See how pretty that is? Also great for stripes. And again, all of these, or maybe not again, but maybe I should tell you, all of these baby blankets, generally 600 grams of yarn. So if you are shopping for yarn, 6 balls of yarn or 6 100-gram balls of yarn gets you the right amount for a baby blanket. Now we have, I love this one, so good. This is, do you know which one it is? It's the Guzzling Granny. This is the Guzzling Granny because it is a real yarn eater. Look how great that is. That's the Guzzling Granny. So it is a fantastic shell stitch. This is actually a blanket. Well, it's not. It's made from, inspired by, a blanket I found at a thrift shop in Canada at least probably 30 years ago. Part of it was acrylic yarn, part of it was wool, and it had been washed and dried, so the wool part had shrunken up, and then they just donated it. So, but I really like the stitch. So I looked at it. This is the stitch. So it is definitely a stacking shell pattern, but really dense, super squishy. Do you see the texture on it? It's really, really thick and cozy. So if you have, it's a yarn eater. This is 1,200 grams, I want to say. It's a lot of yarn. So if you have a lot of yarn laying around your house, matches, cute colors, goes together, this would be a great blanket for it. If you are looking for a pattern that doesn't need too much yarn, this is not the pattern. This is the Guzzling Granny. Let me show it to you. Another thing I did with this pattern is for the stripes on the ends, I made them like a mirror image of each other. So each end has gray as the last stripe and white getting towards it on both ends. So if you hold it, or if you're folding it or anything, see the stripes match. Instead of going in color order, it goes in order like from the center out. So that is the Guzzling Granny. And definitely a good way of doing stripes. If you just want to put, I think of like the Bay blankets, you know, from Hudson Bay, those old blankets where they had the stripe on the one end. That's the inspo for that. Now we have the Beached Granny. This is a great summer inspired sort of pattern. Look how cute that is. So it's a bit more open, a bit more lacy. It doesn't need that much yarn because of the spaces. You're putting V's into trees for this one. So it is V's into trees all the way. Really lovely. It would be really great for like a throw on a sofa, over an armchair, just something light, delicate, and so pretty for the spring. So this is definitely a must make. Easy 1-row repeat, and again, straight edge part of the pattern, so you can't really mess that up because it always ends and starts the same way. And there's easy triggers to remind yourself to do what you need to do at the end and the beginning of your rows. I love this one. I love it. Most of you know what this is already, just because you can see that much of it. This is the Pin Curl Granny. And I'll show you why when I unfold it. Another feature of this beauty. Look at the border. Loops and bridges border. It's fantastic. I love it. You could put this border onto any granny square or C2C blanket that you have. It doesn't have to go exactly on this one, but boy, is it ever pretty. I love on it. So this was a stash busting project, actually. I was trying to find yarn. I had no yarn. Can you imagine? I was running out, very, very low on yarn. So I was trying to find colors that went together to make a blanket, and this is all I really had. It worked out. I think it's pretty great. But let me show you how it's called Pin Curl. I'll just get it folded up a little bit. You can probably see when it's hanging this way. Can you see those natural ripples? Let me see if I can probably show you on the darker side. Maybe. So it has those little columns going down the little rows. It's so cute. So super easy, 1 row repeat, and it gives a nice wavy kind of texture to it, like pin curls in the olden days. So that is the pin curl baby blanket, not really baby, more of a throw blanket because I loved it too much. I kept going with that one. And the loops and bridges border. So definitely check that out. Really good border, really good stitch. I don't think I told enough people about this stitch in the beginning of time. It is a really good one. There we go. Oh, it's so exciting. Every time I look down, there's such a good blanket down there. This is, did you get it? Did you guess? This is the Speedy Granny Ruth baby blanket. So the Speedy Granny Ruth, but with a straight edge, no tassels. I did this with a DK weight and a 5mm crochet hook. It is Cake's Baby Fine is the yarn. So it's small and pretty and light because the yarn is small and pretty and light. So cute. Let me show you the texture of it. Can you see that? So no holes or less holes. And 25% less stitches. So you do a chain 1, skip 1 every 4th stitch. So looks like a lot of crochet. It is a lot of crochet, but it's 25% less stitches because you are literally chaining 1 and skipping 1 every 4th stitch. And no holes. So if we're making all those chain 1, skip 1s, you don't see it. So that is why it is so fast and easy. And then you just turn and come back, so no tassels. So that is the Speedy Granny Ruth baby blanket. Ooh! Oh, I want to put a border on this. I have such a good border for this. It's on my endless whip list. This is the Sundae Granny blanket. Sundae Granny. Sundae with an AE at the end, not a DAY. Because you are doing scoops and cherries. Can you see the scoops and the cherries? So you do a scoop, you put a cherry on top. You do a scoop, you put a cherry on top. Super easy 1 row repeat. I'll show you how big it is while I'm here. This is just 500 grams of yarn. Nice little sample size, little baby blanket size. So cute. It does have some holes in it, but it is really also nice just for having around on your furniture, your sofa. I do call a lot of things baby blankets. They're blankets, they're throws, they're lap gans. I have itch on my nose. I have a hair on my nose. So they're really good for just having around, a little throw here or there. Really fast and easy to work up and easy to remember. Scoops and cherries, so you can always remember that fast pattern. This is the Sober Granny. Now, can you see why? Let me hold it the right way around. Can you see why it's sober? Because all of those little boxes make sense. They're all in order. They're all lined up. They're all so cute. And let me show you. Does it also not look like C2C? Yes, it does. But it's in rows. So you don't have to worry. Like if you like C2C, but you struggle with that turn and the decreasing and all that, this is in rows. So you get the same look, but horizontal rows. I can show it to you. I should show it to you while we're here, right? So I use Softly Baby for this. Just like a baby yarn from Ice Yarns. So cute. And it also has this really sweet border. Let me show you the border. Just little shells just to finish it off around the edge. Which also you could do this border onto any C2C or granny square blanket. It doesn't have to be specific to this one. It's so cute. So this is the Sober Granny. It's so squishy too. So the holes are very small. They're minimal for sure. And it is just such a lovely pattern. Also working into spaces, it goes super quick, and straight edges, everything. It's 100% great pattern. Oh my gosh, so these are the Drunken ones finished now. We're moving on to the last one, the finale. This is the giant Granny Square rectangle blanket. I get a lot of questions about, oh, can I turn that Granny Square into a blanket if I just keep going? The answer, technically, yes, of course you can. The real answer, it won't look that great because you're going to have too many stitches in the corners. So if you have made a granny, oop, there's a bee on it. Ooh, it's alive. There's a sad bee. There was a sad bee on it. Oh, sorry, bee. He's still walking around down there. What do I do about the bee? You relax. I'll take you out in a minute. I thought it was a wasp. It's a bee. So the thing about the pattern, you need to fix your corners. So there's big corners and small corners. And then your blanket turns out to be square, not like a squished starfish where it's just like wonky. It doesn't lay flat. And you can kind of tell that the pattern worked out that way by how the person or the designer or the creator photographs it. If it's all kind of like draped over an armchair, you're like, oh yeah, you didn't get the corners. This pattern, totally straight. How you can tell if your pattern is straight. All right. So I folded it in half. And if you hold it up, that corner should be the same width as the blanket. Here. That should be very similar. If I folded it proper, it would be similar. It would be almost identical. But, well, yeah, it's pretty much identical. I'll fold it this way so you can see. So there's the end of it, and there's the middle of it. And it's the same width. So the corners are the trick to making a huge, giant Granny Square blanket. Follow this tutorial to make a rectangular one. I just think rectangles are kind of classier than squares, but squares are also kind of fun. So I would like to do a square one in the future. What color should we use for that? If you have any ideas for a Granny Square, or I should show it to you too, for a Granny Square blanket, let me know. This is the rectangle, not super rectangle, just a bit. See the center there? And this is just regular worsted weight acrylic. Well, I think it's Draylon acrylic, to be honest. Some of it's Canyon acrylic. I can feel it. I can feel that Canyon acrylic. So that is the giant Granny Square blanket. Also easy one row repeat. I guess you do change the corners every now and again, but not enough to not count as a one row repeat. So which of these gorgeous blankets would you like to try first? Or have you made some? Let us know in the comments what yarn you used and how it turned out. And I'm waiting for you in that video up there. Stay hooked. Oh my gosh, they're so heavy. I'm telling you, it's like I go to the gym, but then I don't go to the gym. Ugh. That's probably like 15 kilos. How many do you think it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, at least 10 kgs. Maybe it's as bulky. Oh, stay hooked.